Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Planning for the Future of Your Child webinar. I'm Kirk Barth, the Special Needs Planner with Special Needs Hawaii. In this webinar, we'll be briefly going over the 10 steps you should consider when creating your plan for your special needs child. Because of time constraints, we're presenting a high-level view. You can go over topics in depth with me when we meet. This meeting is going to terminate after 40 minutes, so be sure to take down our contact information. We'll try to reach out to you as well. The first few minutes of this might be a little bit jerky because I'm still admitting people into the meeting, and please bear with me for the first few slides. This is a collaborative meeting with the Autism Society of Hawaii. We would like to thank them for their help in making this event possible. Mahalo. Now, before we start, we'd like to remind everyone that this webinar is not meant to replace in-person meetings, and you should see professionals with special needs expertise for help in creating your special needs plan. Finally, please save your questions for the end. We'd like to finish the presentation on time so we can answer any questions you may have in the chat room. A bit about us first. I've been financial planning since 1989, and Special Needs Hawaii has been helping people and families with their special needs planning since 2004. Okay, enough about me. Let's begin the presentation. So, when you create a special needs plan for your child, you're trying to answer some of the questions for yourself and your child's future. These are common questions that our clients have typical, I don't use the word normal, and special needs children ask us all the time. These questions can include, who will take care of my child when I can't? Oh, somebody's entering. Where will they live? Will they have a good quality of life? And will they be eligible for government benefits? The first step to answering these major questions and planning for the future is to understand your present situation and your goals. Knowing your goals and your objectives gives you clarity and direction. In order to develop goals for yourself, you have to answer some questions about your child's future. Some questions you might think about would be, what are your plans for education? Are they going to receive a certificate or diploma from high school? Will they go to college? Did you know that there's over 20 colleges in the United States that have curriculum for special needs students? What type of medical treatment will your child be receiving? Will new treatments be available in the future? And where are they going to live? At home, with a relative, brother, sister, or in a group home? The next thing to know is the importance of $2,000. When your child is 18, if they have more than $2,000 in countable assets, they will be ineligible for government benefits. These countable assets includes obvious ones such as bank accounts, investments, but less obvious ones such as airplane tickets, which are cashable, concert tickets, and even gift cards. Do not forget the bonds that Tutu gave at birth. Okay, so trying to keep the assets under $2,000, you make sure that you check your child will not be the beneficiary of any assets such as life insurance, annuities, and retirement plans. These are all assets and accounts that are passed through beneficiary designations. Now, many people designate their beneficiaries at the time of application. So if that was a while ago, you may need to check them again. You should check them again anyway. For example, one of our clients found an ex-spouse as a beneficiary on an IRA he didn't even remember having. And don't forget that $1,000 policy that you got free at the credit union. Also, check to see if you've listed your estate as a beneficiary on any of the previously mentioned assets or any of your legal documents, such as your will. This can cause assets to be given to your child by operation of law. You may also want to inquire with any friends and relatives to see if they have any plans to give your child any assets. This point ties to our next step, and that is, don't keep your plan a secret. Have a family meeting with family members, friends, and other people involved in the planning process. This meeting's important because you can let everybody know about your plans for your child, as well as how everyone will fit into your child's plan. Remember, someone who does not know what your plans are could possibly ruin it with their good intentions. Some topics that you can include in this discussion should be future needs of your child. What about future care options? You might want to ask family members if they want to help. And if they say yes, say, will you help? Then finally, how is everything going to be paid for? How your friends and family factor into your plan is important. They're on your side. They're important people for you to be working with, but they're not the only people who are going to be on your team. So, who's on your team? You want to have a team of professionals who work for you. You should work with professionals that are well-versed in special needs planning, such as your attorney, who will draft the special needs trust, your accountant who understands taxes, tax law, and deductions, and a special needs financial planner who can help with your objectives and goals. You also need to make sure that you're working with professionals who have experience in working with special needs families, such as your caregiver, a healthcare professional or nurse. They know your child pretty well. The school's guidance counselor, other people from organizations such as voc rehab, occupational therapy. This is not a complete list, but think about people in your life that can play an important role in the future. Now, also, there's local nonprofits. Voc Rehab is a good example of a local nonprofit that's available to provide services or to provide information on special needs topics. After all, Hawaii's culture does revolve around aloha and helping. Some of these local organizations include Special Parents Information Network, or SPIN, Leadership in Disability and Achievement of Hawaii, LDAH, the Hawaii Disability Rights Center. These are all good organizations that I work with, and they provide really good information to the families. There's many others as well. And if you want to find out which other organizations are available, check out the website under the Resources tab. Just so that you know, nobody paid me to promote them on this. In addition to local organizations, there's also government agencies that you can contact to get more information and support. These are agencies like the Department of Health, Social Security Administration. They can all be helpful in creating your plan. It's important to contact these government agencies because they should understand the government benefits. There's several government benefits available for special needs dependents. These can include medical treatments, cash, food, housing, equipment, etc. Some of these programs will include Supplemental Security Income, or SSI. This is needs-based. This is where the $2,000 rule comes in. Social Security Disability Income. This is an entitlement program based on your or your parents' work record. Medicare and Medicaid. And knowing what benefits are available and how you can integrate them into your plan is going to make your planning and funding efforts significantly easier. Make sure your child's assets and the situation comply with the government benefit requirements is a large part of the funding, and estate planning issues with a proper plan will address these. Now, the next step to having a good plan is make sure you have a will. A will explains to the court who gets your stuff when you die. Very simple. A will also explains, well, a will also should be reviewed and updated as necessary, maybe every 2 or 3 years, because people will come in and out of your life, and you will probably want to change it at some point. And there's at least 2 reasons that this is important to have a will. The first reason is it can be used to make sure that your child will not receive any assets over $2,000 from you. And if you have assets and you die without a will, you may accidentally give your child enough to push them over the $2,000 threshold. You'll have no say in the distribution of your assets. It's going to be up to the judge. The second reason, and perhaps more important, is the reason for having a will is because it's the only place that you can name a guardian for your minor child. This brings up the next step: guardianship and conservatorship. Now, guardianship is the ability to make lifestyle decisions for a person. Conservatorship is the ability to make financial decisions for a person. Now, the duty of the guardian or the conservator is to make decisions in the best interest of the child, whether it's lifestyle or financial. You also need to decide if your child needs guardian. While your child's under the age of 18, you are their legal guardian. After 18, you'll need to prove to the court that your child needs a guardian and is unable to make important decisions on their own. Consider assigning a professional guardian rather than people. People make errors. Professional guardians are trained. They have insurance. They're bonded. And they can make good decisions for your child, and you can work together with them to make sure that you're making the right decisions. So do it early. It's a lot easier to petition for guardianship for a minor before they turn 18 than after your child turns 18. Now, some of the nonprofits that I've spoken with consider that guardianship is very restrictive, but a lot of people feel that it's better to have guardianship and not exercise it than to have your child declare independence at 18, leave the house, and doing something really bad or stupid, such as racking up a lot of credit card debt, having a car accident, whatever. The topic of guardianship is really broad, sorry, and we're not going to go too much depth into it in this webinar, but we made a video about it on YouTube, so check it out when you can. Earlier in the webinar, we mentioned that your child, if they want to maintain government benefits, cannot have more than $2,000 of assets in their name. The best way to accomplish this is to place their assets in a special needs trust. You notice that I specifically mentioned special needs trust. A trust is important to have, but not just any trust. A normal trust or a typical trust, a revocable trust, irrevocable trust is eventually designed to put beneficiaries, put assets in the possession of the beneficiary, whether it's lump sum or in the form of income. A special needs trust is pretty much just the opposite. It's designed to keep assets out of your child's name and possession. By keeping assets out of your child's possession, it will help your child maintain their eligibility for government benefits, while having the trustee distribute these assets to enhance the quality of life. This special needs trust can also protect your child from predators and creditors. Now, there's many types of special needs trust out there, so make sure that you talk to a special needs professional about the right one. And these trusts are state specific, and I cannot tell you how many trusts I've read that have been drafted by very well-meaning relatives who are real estate or corporate attorneys, and they're simply drafted wrong, or else it's the wrong type of trust. Trusts take time to set up, so start early. All right, so you've identified a caregiver for your child. Now what? You think you're finished? How do you ensure that your child's caregiver will know what to do? How do you get what's inside your head and inside your heart into theirs? It's very simple. You write a letter of intent. The letter of intent is a tell-all document about your child. It's a day in the life of your child, a week in the life of your child. It's whatever you want it to be. It's not a legal document. It doesn't need to be formal. You can do it on tape, you can CD, you can do it in pencil, crayon. We have a form I'll be happy to give to anybody that wants. Update it annually, and also know that the courts have taken these into account when there's been no will or trust. It gives them an idea of what the parent's intent is. You can keep it with your other important legal documents, such as your will, but don't keep those documents in a safe deposit box. Keep them at home in a fireproof box. If somebody passes away, typically a safe deposit box is locked until the judge says it can be opened. Some examples of topics you might address in this letter, and here's an example of one of the pages, are your child's habits, their likes and their dislikes, foods, colors, textures, etc. Special needs kids can be a little quirky if you haven't noticed. Maybe thoughts on marriage, final resting place, allergies, medications, doctors they like, doctors they hate, people that they should avoid, bullies, and how to take care of them. So we just gave you 10 steps in creating a good plan for the child. Where do you start? Well, you just did. Attending this webinar and ones like this will give you information about planning and to get you thinking about starting your own plan. You should also go see a professional with expertise in special needs planning. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this webinar is not meant to replace meetings with professionals. I've been doing a lot of Zoom meetings with my clients and people that are interested in planning. Now, these professionals will be able to guide you in the creation of your plan. So I can also guide you to some professionals that are good. So what you want to think about is quality of life for your child. And remember, no matter what anybody says, you are the expert of your child. So to review, the 10 steps that we went through in creating a good special needs plan are: know your child, know the $2,000 rule, have a family meeting, don't keep it a secret, tell them your plans, have a team of professionals that you work with, and that they can work with your family. Know the organizations and agencies you can contact for support and knowledge. Know the government benefits, what's available for your child. Have a will. Know if your child needs guardianship. Make sure you have the correct special needs trust, and please write the letter of intent. Okay, well, we finished the presentation. Note this right here. I'm a member of the Academy of Special Needs Planners. It's a group of special needs professionals across the country. We have a listserv with each other. I can get pretty much any type of question answered. So let's move on to the questions. If you have any questions, please type them in the chat. We'll try to answer them. We have about 15 or 20 minutes to do so. So the answers are going to be brief. Keep your questions general. I'd be very happy to talk with you on an individual basis. You can find out more information about Special Needs Hawaii and Special Needs Channing on our YouTube channel. That's Special Needs Hawaii. We upload videos about special needs and planning. Thanks for attending. I'll see you all next time. Please be well.